Awesome. Thanks, everyone. I'm really excited to be here. I've been in this space for a little over 4 years right now, and at Hashflow, we've been building quite a few products. We started off back in 2020 with an MEV protected RFQ model before MEV protection was a thing. We've been building cross-chain solutions. We've been building aggregators. And I think the ethos of it all is that we've been perpetually researching how to build the best exchange experience that someone could have. But before we talk about that, I would like to talk a little bit about how technology has impacted the way people interact with each other, interact with businesses, and interact with institutions. I handpicked a few events which I thought were very, very relevant and affected the world as a whole. And we're going to start back in the 80s, when something known as the World Wide Web, or more colloquially, the Internet, came to be. The Internet simply enabled people's computers to talk to each other over a protocol named TCP that is ubiquitously used today. That paved the way for the interactions that we have today with pretty much every single business that we interact with, including like how you get your coffee, how you trade, and sometimes how you get your driver's license from DMV. Right? This was very important and it evolved into all the building blocks that we have today to write software. Fast forward to not necessarily AWS, but the cloud. What did the cloud do for us? Well, before the cloud, people needed hardware to deploy their programs. They needed these boxes that they would set up in sometimes small, sometimes large data centers, depending on their budgets. And it was operationally very, very heavy to deploy software, to have a website running, to deliver your software to your users. Cloud kind of changed that. With a Visa credit card and a little bit of programming knowledge, all of a sudden you can take your software and put it on a computer and run it. How cool is that? What does it mean? You're a dev, you want to create a startup, you want to reach your users, write a program, put it on a cloud, it's live, rent 1 or 2, 3 software services, and you're in business, right? That has evolved over time. Initially, it was just rented hardware in a cloud. Then it kind of further evolved to products like Shopify. Today, we're seeing things like AI writing your websites. So it made it easier and easier and easier over time for business owners and for institutions to actually take their products and put them online without necessarily having knowledge of how to write a program. Quite powerful. Then something quite magical, moving on, happened in the late 2010s, which is Apple pretty much forced everyone, pushed everyone to take these computers that were typically running on, on your desktop and put them into phones. Why was that important? Well, it was important because all of a sudden, this software that you have access to at your computer is now in your pocket, which means that you're interacting with it all the time. So naturally, if you look today at your phone, most of your apps require internet to work. Most of the things that you do require internet to work at home, on the go, at work, whether you're writing a slide presentation for Modular Summit or you're just trying to order coffee, it all kind of requires internet, and it all kind of works on your phone. And that enables people to change the way they interact with each other. So, what does the future hold? Before we dive into that, I want to talk about one of my favorite applications of the modern technology stack that is so ubiquitous today, which is finance. I remember how excited I was the first time I downloaded Robinhood. I was so excited I started buying stocks I should have never bought, right? And I lost a lot of money on. However, that's not the point. The point is that this created financial freedom. This ability to write software and deliver it everywhere created these markets that people never thought existed. And fast forward to today, we're able to trade cryptocurrencies. How cool is that? All these exchanges that we have today are taking assets that are literally created days before. They're putting them in circulation. They create liquidity for them within hours, and people have access to them. That's how you're trading your favorite coins. Every day, whether it's Dogecoin or it's Bitcoin or it's Shiba Inu, it doesn't matter. These guys are fast. They offer a wide variety of products. They have amazing user experiences, and most importantly, they allow you to have access to the finance that you want, right? How do they do this? How do they build such a great experience that you always have access to? Well, Naturally, they use the modern stack. They deploy to the cloud. They have applications. And typically, they use a very monolithic approach that allows them to scale and optimize very, very quickly. Typically, every single perform exchange has a central limit order book, also known as a CLOB. This is the thing that you see when you go on Binance and you see red and white kind of orders matching in a V-shaped structure. That's your order book, right? They also have a matching engine. As you're placing orders, they get matched against other people's orders, and you're trading coins, right? They take custody of your assets, and they also run their own ledgers, which are settlement models. Because everything is so monolithic and centralized, they allow you to have a really, really good user experience. However, this is real money. And with real money comes real risk. There are definitely risks associated with centralized exchanges. They manage billions of dollars of capital, and we all know what happens when you have too many billions of dollars. You tend to spend them on things. They're not exactly the most wise things to spend billions of dollars on. And sometimes you lose them. So as a user, it's kind of hard to trust these entities because of the lack of transparency. You're putting your money into an exchange, you don't know what they do with it, you trust them, they have a good reputation, but maybe one day they start telling you that they lost $8 billion, you can't take your money back, right? So there must be a better way. We have to think of a better way. And I'm here to talk today about the Exchange OS, also what we're calling the provable approach to building exchanges. So the idea here is that instead of keeping them as a monolithic structure, we make them modular. And with modularity and provability comes safety and user trust. However, there's a big caveat here, which is we can't compromise on user experience. Making things harder, making things slower, making things impossible to use, requiring users to change the way they do things every day when it comes to their money is not going to attract them. So it's very, very important that we preserve the user experience. In a provable world, we think of exchanges as two components. The first one is the service layer. You can think of this as the order book and the matching engine. This has to be state-of-the-art. It has to land on your phone wherever you are, whenever you want to use it. It has to be quick. It has to have access to a lot of liquidity. It has to allow the current actors on centralized exchanges operate the same way they've been operating for many years now, so that they can offer you the same suite of products that you want. However, it has to also be safe. So we're splitting the settlement layer, which involves asset custody and the actual exchange ledger, into a modular component powered by zero-knowledge technology and a data availability layer. We call this the Exchange OS. Why do we do this? Why does modularity work? Let's think of a computer. A computer, is the simplest form, is a state machine. It has, at abstract layer, two big components: computation and data. By splitting them, we allow the very, very bright minds of our industry to work on these things in parallel. With zero-knowledge proofs, you can actually reduce verification to constant time, no matter how complex the computation behind it is. So therefore, as hardware advances, as we get faster GPUs, faster CPUs, better machines, we can make ZK-proof computation cheaper. We optimize that by itself. Separately, on the data side, we have more and more data availability solutions. We have Cosmos-based solutions like Celestia. We have eigenlayer AVS-based solutions like EigenDA. We have Avail. All these things are amazing tools that are going to be used for the years to come by different apps that are building their own experiences. We want to split them up so that these teams can research independently and benefit the exchange ecosystem as breakthroughs are made. But this is hard. And the reality is that if you look at centralized exchanges today, they have quants that are veterans in the game. They have devs that are veterans in the game. But learning an entirely new stack that they have to trust for billions of dollars is really hard. So therefore, we make it easy for them. Exchange OS is not just meant for new exchanges. We want Exchange OS to be used by new exchanges, but we also want it to be used by exchanges that want to improve the trust assumptions that users have to make. Essentially, think of Binance being able to use this to prove to their users their solvency. Think of any other exchange being able to do so while preserving the amazing experience that we've perfected over the years, right? So then, why provable? Well, again, user experience is the same. People don't have to do anything else. They don't have to learn math overnight. They don't have to learn how to code, not even JavaScript. They don't have to do anything. They use the exchange the same way they've been using it for the past few years. However, they cannot get rugged. Sounds like a win-win, right? Well, why now? It's important to mention that the past year or two have been pivotal in zero-knowledge cryptography. Things have gotten cheaper. A lot of things have launched in the past year or so, kind of battle testing a lot of these techniques that we use. And based on the research that we did, or we've been doing for the past few months, we've determined that technology today is advanced enough so that trades as low as $1 in volume can actually be profitable in a provable world. This is big. Before this year, we didn't have this. We didn't have the tooling. Everything was expensive. NVIDIA didn't have the hardware they have today. And the best news is that this is getting even better. So if $1 is profitable today, we have reasons to believe that 10 cents or sub 10 cents is going to be profitable within the next year or two. So this is the right time to show the world what it's like to build something that has the same user experience, allows us to onboard people that have been in a space for a while that do not know what crypto is, while maintaining costs and giving them better guarantees. So, kind of moving on. The future, the next paradigm, in our opinion, is provability. Finance is only one industry that requires people's trust. There are others, like healthcare, like politics, social media. We see all the crazy stuff that's going on in the world today, and we see how confused people are about what to use, what's preserving their privacy, what's not preserving their privacy, who's giving them the correct information, who can they trust. So to us, it's not just about how fancy our machine learning models are. The way we're thinking about this is the internet created communication, our ability to talk to each other. Cloud created opportunities for software creators. It made their lives better. Mobile made lives better for software consumers. And the missing component is trust. Software creators are going to use ZK, zero knowledge, and provability, to have consumers trust them and to create a system that across the board has checks and balances. And we're excited to be some of the first to build this in finance. And by we, I don't mean just Hashflow, I mean the entire community that has been building crypto for a long time. And we feel like the beginning of a more free financial world is in sight, and it's just going to be paving the way for how software is built in the future. Now, the question is, how soon? Are we talking research? Are we talking a month from now? Are we talking 2 months from now? Are we talking a year, 2 years? Is this just ideological? Well, I'm just going to end by saying this. The first provable exchange is going to be with us within the next few months. And I'm so excited that we're going to be able to show the world what can be done in a safe, profitable manner with amazing user experience for what we think is going to be the future of crypto trading. Thank you so much for having me.